Good afternoon, everybody. It is Friday night here in Manhattan. We are right outside of the Moynihan train station, and we are going to be walking around for about 1 hour tonight. It's an extremely windy night here in New York City. Santa Monica Rodriguez, hello, how are you? Anonymous Dude 123, the ABX girl, Bowser. What's going on, Bowser? Matthew P says greetings from Canada, Tom. What is up, Matthew P? Good to see you. Bowser, good to see you. The ABX girl is joining us from the Bronx. I see Joe C in here. What's up, Joe C? Always good to see you. Soho Guy is here once again. Ken Kramer. Dante Rose says, hey, Tom, hope you had a great weekend. And Two Wheel Pines is here. Says, what's up, Tom? What is going on, everybody? Sally's here. Troy 1995, I see. What's up, Troy? Good to have you here. Bowser says, I am doing good. Thank you for asking. How about yourself? I'm doing really well. Doing really well, Bowser. So I think we'll head downtown again. Hey, Jason Wheeler's here. What's up, Jason? Sally's is beautiful view, Tom. Yeah, so this is the very back side of the Moynihan train station with the post office entrance. April says hi, Tom. What's up, April? I see Anonymous Dude 123 says happy Thanksgiving weekend to all. Alex says hello, Tom. Joe Hernandez says, hey, Tom, did you get your train? Joe, I did. I just made it in the nick of time. I literally just made it last night as the doors were closing. Valentina says hello. So this is actually near Hudson Yards. Jackie Jackson says, hey, Tom and everybody, I trust you had a good Thanksgiving with your family. Indeed, I did. Sal Mendez says, are you going to ride the subway? Not today, Sal. I haven't taken the subway in a long time. JK says, hey. Lady O says, Tom, hope you're bundled up. It's chilly. It's freezing out tonight, Lady O. So Lady O is our good moderator from the great state of New Jersey. Sid Harth says, downtown, the old chapel where George is. JK, what's up? Ken Kramer says, market sold off because of... I think it's a buying opportunity. What's up, Ken Kramer? Yeah, so we had a big sell-off today on Wall Street. Big sell-off. I believe the Dow Jones Industrial Average almost ended down about 900 points. The S&P 500 is down, and the NASDAQ, I think, was down almost over 2% today. So we'll talk about that and more on the stream. JK says, market's red, list a lot. Jetstar, what's up? I see Joyce here. Ken Kramer, always good to see you. Alan Wilson is here. What's up, Alan? Andrew Tong says hi from Philly. What's up, Andrew? Matthew P, everybody. Valentina. Beer and Bets podcast was in Miami, same time as you this past week. Cheers, appreciate the support. No problem, everybody. No problem, Beer and Bets podcast. Michelle McGraw is here. What's up, Michelle? Says, hey, Tom, hope you're doing well. What is up, Michelle? Michelle McGraw is another one of our great moderators. So I'll show you guys a very nice view of the Empire State Building with the Madison Square Garden in the back. Rosie says, buenos noches, Tom. Buenos noches, Rosie. Good to see you, Rosie. British Gray is joining us here from Tampa, Florida. Always good to see you. Edson says, Tom, what's going on? How was your Thanksgiving? My Thanksgiving was really good. Took the day to enjoy it, hang out. I didn't really do too much, which was very good. Gerald Lee says, hey, Wall Street Skateboarding, good to see you. Right back at you, Gerald. Alan Wilson, what's up? Hope everybody's well. Jetstar says, happy day after, Tom. What's going on, Jetstar? Valentina says, Tom, did you buy something on Black Friday? I did. I bought a book today. I bought a very interesting book that I've been wanting to read for quite some time. It's called Forward by Andrew Yang, and he talks about automation, mainly a topic we've been talking about a lot on the streams. How automation is going to affect the workforce, mainly automation in terms of manufacturing jobs in the United States. A lot of these jobs are being automated away due to artificial intelligence, machine learning, and the like. And even though I don't agree with everything that Andrew Yang says, I think he's the only sort of political candidate or political activist that is bringing about awareness to job displacement due to technological factors. So technology doesn't need to be this big, bad, evil thing. like a lot of politicians think. All we need to do is retrain our workforce for a new modern economy where AI, artificial intelligence, and machine learning will lead from the front. So I'm very excited to read that book. I just picked it up today at the Barnes & Nobles. No, actually, excuse me, I picked it up at one of the Amazon stores in the Deutsche Bank Tower. So we're gonna head towards the Hudson Yards tonight. We're gonna check some things out, and then maybe we'll skateboard downtown. I do have the board with me tonight, but there's a lot of traffic in the city, so I'm not sure how much use we're gonna get out of it, but we'll check it out. We'll do our best. So this is a Citrovia. They still have the Citrovia up here. Charlie Richardson is here, says hi Tom. Troy 1995 says I don't like Andrew Yang at all. You don't have to. You don't have to like Andrew Yang. Troy 1995 says in my opinion, he said that for attention. Quite possibly, quite possibly. Sally says beautiful view. Hassan Terrell says hi. Charlie Richardson, what's going on? Lady O says yes to skateboard. Hey, and we have Cecilia Thomas here. What's up, Cecilia? Always good to see you. We got our pal Cecilia Thomas in the chat. Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. We are standing outside of 1 Manhattan West, where I believe the NHL's headquarters is actually in this building now, as well as with some big technology consulting firms, Accenture and the like. Very beautiful lobby. Hey everybody, we have Monica here. Monica is joining us from Sweden, the great country of Sweden. I hope you're well. JK says, wow, NHL. Yeah, the NHL is here. Ernst & Young, EY is another big consulting firm. So if you think about the biggest consulting firms, we could talk about KPMG, Deloitte, and Ernst & Young, or EY, and PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers, which is actually very close to the One Vanderbilt building on 42nd Street. Monica says there's snow here. I was on the Upper West Side today, and there was actually some snow flurries that I saw coming down. Could have been hail, but looked like snow to me. So this is the view of the Empire State Building tonight from right behind the new Moynihan train station. Alice says, hi Tom, thank you for your videos, my friend. No problem, Alice. Hope you're having a good weekend so far. Happy Friday, everybody. Buy the Book says, howdy Tom and everybody. What's up, Buy the Book? So one of the things I noticed about this big market sell-off today was a lot of the quote-unquote reopening trades sold off hard and got clocked, and I mean clocked. So if we think about a lot of the cruise liners, so like Norwegian cruise liners, those things were down almost 10% across the board. So maybe the market is signaling that this new variant, even though you may disagree with it or not, the market is telling us that this could possibly be something for concern if we're seeing all of these reopening stocks sell off hard today. War Walker says, evening Tomcat, how are you? I like Yang. He's young and progressive and not stuck in the 19th century. Yeah, I mean, I think that Andrew Yang, even though I don't agree with everything he says, the one area I think where we find some common ground on is the area of automation. And I don't think a lot of people are taking it as seriously as they should, because as someone who works in tech right now, a lot of these software products and, with electric vehicles, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and autonomous vehicles is going to cause a lot of disruption in the workplace. And it's gonna make render a lot of jobs obsolete. Hey JK, how are you? JK says consulting firms are a rip for what they charge government for their services, just a rip-off. Yeah, so I actually used to deal with a lot of Deloitte consultants at my last job. Very smart people. A lot of them are here on H-1B visa. I met a lot of good friends during my time working with a lot of Deloitte consultants here in the city. The RT440 says this is a tiny sell-off. It will crash 10,000 to 15,000 points at some point. This is the RT440. Well, when that point happens, make sure you drop it in the chat and let us know. The ABX girl says agree. JK says Deloitte is well, so Deloitte is a ripoff, but I think it just depends. You know what, JK? I'll leave it at this. I think the management consulting is an industry that is just waiting to be disrupted. And I know a few companies that will probably, down the line disrupt Deloitte. What I think could potentially happen is a lot of new startup companies could offer management consulting services for free, but the way they would get compensated is if a company decides to buy new technology products and services, they just get paid via a commission as a VAR structure, value-added reseller, potentially. Let's see. Hey, Melee's here. Says, hello, Tom. Good evening. What's up, Melee? Good to see you. Good to see you, ABX girl. The RT440 is good to see you as well. Ice is here. Soho guy says, C variants are great for sale on my Amazon store. People are funny, Tom. D Wood says, the markets always panic. Yeah, so one of the other things that I think it's very important to look at today, which I think that this dip will probably be bought up right around the main 50-day moving averages of all the major indices. In my opinion, we will know when the big sell-off is here when we have to look at the bond market, right? Because I think the stock market is a derivative of the debt markets, right? Of the credit markets. And as we've seen, we're actually not seeing an uncontrolled sell-off in the debt market, in which case the yield on that 10-year treasury note would spike. So what we're seeing now is a flight to safety. The dollar is relatively strong, although today it did get hit a little bit. But this bond market is telling me that this dip will probably be bought. And historically speaking, if we look at the volatility index or the VIX, which is the fear index, one of the things that I like to point out is usually when you have a day where the VIX is up 50%, it's usually probably keen to short volatility instead of trying to go long vol. And that does not mean that this correction is over and that the market's just going to go up and levitate up the next day. It doesn't mean that. But what it means is usually historically, we are getting close to some sort of a bottom in this market. If you pull up a chart of the VIX, which is considered the fear index, usually when you have a large spike in the VIX like we had today, I think the VIX was up 20 points and closed at the dead high, that's usually an opportunity to actually get short volatility. But we'll see how this plays out. We're still a couple points off away from the 50-day moving averages on the S&P, the NASDAQ, and the Dow. So I think everything is still risk on until just as long as we don't undercut the 50-day moving averages. Hey, the Aviator's here. Says, hello, everyone. Happy Black Friday. I hope everyone got what they wanted before they went out of stock. What's up, the Aviator? Tom Jones is here. Says, love your live channel every night. In a few days, I will get to hug my kid in Penn Station, then spend a week letting her show me around the city. Maybe we will see you wandering around some night. Hey, Tom Jones, that's awesome, man. Well, I hope you have a great night. That's going to be phenomenal. Morgan G.A. says, hey, Tom, what would you do if when he said, okay, yes, would go nuts? What would you do if when he said, yes, okay, would go nuts? Morgan G.A., maybe I have to read another comment. Troy1995 says, unless the C variant can do some real damage, we will see. Michael F. says, good evening. What's up, Michael? JK says, damn, Tom, bro, I will admit you are intelligent and you're tuned in. Sorry, I lost your comment. Tuned in with respect to the markets and Korea. Mad respect, Skate Bro. Appreciate that. Joyce Carter's here. So Saturday is almost here. Patriot Dude, how are you? D Wood says, what is management consultancy? So management consultancy, you think about a company like the Big Four. So KPMG, Ernst & Young, Deloitte. I guess you could throw Marsh & McLennan in there, I guess. RJ says, no panic and sell 50% of my portfolio. Jeez. Tom Jones, good to see you. JK, good to see you. Aviator. Black Angel says, hey. Soho guy says, hey, Tom, I love the fear index. It means I can make more hard cash. Very cool. Very cool. Andrew Lee says, what's up from Queens? Good to see you. Andrew Lee says he just came back from New Jersey. Very cool. JK says, might swing Bitcoin this weekend and see how it moves. Jonathan Richards says, hello, Tom. What's up, Jonathan? Good to see you, Jonathan, as always. Joyce Carter says, Black Friday is good therapeutic for shopping. Maya is here, says hello. Dalton says, what's up from Charlotte? Welcome, everybody from Charlotte. Ron is here. What's up, Ron? Hope everybody's well. GJ says, happy Thanksgiving holiday, Tom. Love hanging with you, man. Right back at you, GJ. Love hanging with you as well. Trippin' Music says hello. What's up, Trippin' Music? Always good to see you. So let's head over to the Hudson Yards. I know we went there almost every night on the stream, but we're going to go back there again tonight. Sally says, I didn't know when you ended your stream last night, Tom. I fell asleep. Yeah, we went well over schedule last night. Lady O says, Tom, did you buy any cryptocurrency? I own, the only cryptocurrencies I own is Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I will never sell those positions. Well, maybe I would sell my Ethereum position, not now though. But Bitcoin, no. Because I hope to one day collateralize that and borrow against it. Maybe when I'm like 50 or 60 to fund other ventures. Sunshine After Rain is here. Says, hi, Tom, how are you? What's up, Sunshine? Good to see you. We are here on West 33rd Street and 10th Avenue, right outside the shops. I was just about to say the shops at Columbus Circle, but it's not. It is the shops at, oh my gosh, that wind is killer. The shops at the Hudson Yards. Sorry, everybody, for the wind. Troy 1995 says, did you work in the city all day? I worked probably like a half day today. So for me, I'm in sales, so I had to put in a lot of orders. Oh man, the wind is killer. So it's the end of the month, obviously, so in sales, got to put in a lot of orders. Hey, I see Daniel G from Buenos Aires, Argentina is here. What's up, Daniel G? Good to see you. We got a nice view of the Empire here. Yeah, by the Hudson Yards, the wind is always killer, guys. Crazy. So you might want to turn your volume down a little bit. Hey, Jake Sprouse says, good evening, Tom. What's up, Jake? Joe Hernandez says, last night, Tom, he said he would stream for 1 hour, 3 hours later he finished. I know. Hey, I see Michael F. I see Cosmo Scary. What up, Cosmo? That is just brutal. That's like almost you can't even live. Oh my gosh, guys, that wind is horrendous. Whew, I can't even breathe. Hey, Paul Little says, hey Tom, what's the Black Friday scene like there? It's all right. It's not bad. Troy 1995 says it's like wind ASMR. Alex says, when are you headed back to Miami? Hopefully Tuesday. Friendship Lights, what's up? Come on, let's see if the wind is worse. Oh my gosh, guys. Good to see you, Friendship Lights. War Walkers, sounds like that wind hurts. It does hurt. Indeed it does. Let's see if we can go inside the shops. Let's see if they'll allow us to record inside the shops at Columbus Circle. Hey, Joe Hernandez, it's Tuesday. I leave the hospital. Awesome. We're pulling for you. Hello, everybody. I'm watching from Columbia. Hey, Jim is here. Marzon is here. Worldwide says, what's up, Tom? Jim says, wow, what is that? We are at not Columbus Circle, my God. Hudson Yards. Sorry about that, guys. Rainbow says, I could see you some Canadian snow. Send you some Canadian snow if you like. Michelle McGraw says, sounds brutal out there, Tom. When are you going back to Miami? I should be back in Miami on Tuesday. Should be back in Miami on Tuesday. Hey, Daryl says, good evening, Tom, from Chicago. Yeah, let's see if they'll allow us inside the shops. Let's see what happens. Hey, I see George Lopez here. Paul Little says, Tom, what's happening with Toast? So I think it just reported earnings a couple weeks ago, and it reported worse than expected earnings. So that's why usually when a stock first goes public that I'm looking at, or a company first goes public, I don't buy the stock within the first year, because I want to make sure at least 4 earnings reports roll through that are exceptionally favorable. Marty Lewis says, hi, Tom, just came in from 10th Avenue. It's windy. It's always extremely windy here. Crazy, crazy wind. So hold on, let me find my mask here, because I don't want to get tackled to the ground when I go in. Aviators says 30 is freezing here. But Toast is definitely one to watch. I wouldn't buy it, because I never buy a new IPO within the first year. Sabrina Fair, how are you? Ebid Bud says, any good burgers there? I'm not sure. I think there's a Shake Shack in here, to be honest. Marcelo says, good evening from Brazil. The Aviator says 36, not bad. Jim is here, says futuristic architecture. Always good to see you here, Jim. Welcome back to the stream. All right, we're gonna go inside, guys, because that's what we're gonna do. We'll see. Wow, this place looks nice. I think I've only been in here one other time. So I'll show you guys the ceiling. So this is inside the shops at the Hudson Yards. Ralph says, is it 4K? No, this is 1080p. Wow. This looks really nice in here. I think I've only been in here once. Savvy says, good night, everyone from Canada. What's up, Savvy? Good to see you here once again. Rainbow says, I thought it was land of the free. Kid Rock says, I love Hudson Yards. Paul Little says, the wind chill factor must be brutal there. Indeed it is. Here, I'll stop talking for a bit so you guys could jam to the music and look at the sights. Hey, I see Kid Rock here, says watching from the Jersey Shore. All right, so let's walk around, guys, and see if we buffer. Yeah, this place looks very clean, looks very beautiful. Marzan says this channel is growing on the skateboarding and finance. Thank you, Marzan, appreciate it. Look at how slick the floors are, guys. Yeah, Lady O says love the air balloon. So remember, the most important thing to look for in relation to the stock market is the bond market. The health of the bond market predicts all. So if this sell-off was the big one, the quote-unquote big one, where we're going to get 50 to 60% equities declines, we wouldn't see that 10-year yield coming down. The 10-year yield actually came down a little bit today. Lady O says, Tom, can you imagine skateboarding in there? I know. Square Bet says, hello, Wall. What's up, Square Bet? Joyce Carter is here. War Walker says, is this Manhattan? Yes. This is in the Hudson Yards in Manhattan. Hey, Paul Little's here. Says, love it there. Very nice. Love the Christmas music. Kid Rock says, I love visiting New York City, especially since I live only 40 minutes away. Andrea Bryant is here. Says, hi there. Glad you're warming up. Beautiful place. Love you. Thank you, Andrea Bryant. Melee says, you won't be able to sleep with a bedroom like this. Cosmo's scary. All right, let's take a little walk around, but let's see if we buffer. If I buffer, I'm going to have to head out. Let's take a walk around. Hey, I see Estelle here. What's up, Estelle? Estelle is joining us from Australia. Wow, check this out, everybody. Look at all these lights. Michelle McGraw says, so far so good, Tom. JK says, it looks like Vegas. Liam says, the sell-off was variant driven on a general illiquid day. Yeah, Liam, so that is another good point. So the U.S. equities markets actually closed at 1 p.m. today. So usually very low volume. But I think the thing we have to understand is that ever since October, since we've came out of that correction, we've been on a one-way path higher ever since. So all the main equity indices in the United States are extremely, extremely extended over their 50-day moving averages. So a basic correction to the 50 days is nothing to be concerned about. So the S&P 500 is still a couple points away from its 50 days. So even if we come down all the way and maybe find some support at that 50-day moving average, hopefully that can set us up for a nice basing pattern and a big rally into the end of the year. M Wall on the Run says, hi, Tom. What's up, M Wall on the Run? Good to see you. So if we go to the left, it's West 33rd Street. To the right is 10th Avenue. Hey, Kid Rock says, next week I'll be trying City Climb at Edge. Hope it does not get too cold. I think it's probably going to be a little bit cold, but it's still going to, I think you're going to enjoy it a lot. I think you're really going to like it because the views are insane from there. Jim says, this is Columbus Circle then. No, Jim, this is the Hudson Yards. Columbus Circle is on 59th Street and 8th Avenue at the former Time Warner Centers, and now it's called the Deutsche Bank Towers. I see Ruben Martinez says, hello from Kentucky. What's going on to all of our viewers from Kentucky? I've never been to Kentucky. I would like to go. Well, guys, speaking of Wall Street, here we got the Brooks Brothers right here. Home to extremely expensive clothes. JK says Deutsche Bank is a rotten bank. Yeah, Deutsche Bank, I think, holds the most derivative risk exposure of any of the major investment banks. What's up, Cosmo? I see you. JK says Deutsche Bank is a rotten bank. Yeah, there's a big running joke on Wall Street that Deutsche Bank isn't a big bank. So this is the Genesis Studio. I believe this is actually a car manufactured by Kia, the Kia Genesis. Is that correct, everybody? JK says Tom is damn smart. Only a savvy dude get my comments about Deutsche Bank. Yeah, Paul Little says Brooks Brothers nice clothing, good quality men's shirts. Very expensive Brooks Brothers, though, I believe. Okay, Jetstar. Oh, it's Hyundai. Oh, a Hyundai Genesis. Ah, I got it. Yeah, I thought it was Hyundai or Kia or something. But I think you're right. Running at altitude, Hyundai Genesis. Looks pretty cool. Well, they really keep it clean in here, everybody. So we were actually talking about retail storefronts a little while ago on the stream. I think it was in one of our Miami streams. So if we've seen, we've heard all of the earnings reports roll out for these major Fortune 500 companies, and we see the cannibalization, or I guess you can call it a little bit of balkanization in the retail space, where everybody is moving to or towards e-commerce. But a lot of the main retailers, especially clothing stores and things like that, says there'll always be a place for retail, not really as a profit center or a revenue generating center, but mainly as a pretty much like a storefront for a showcase, just to showcase different products and services, in which case people would buy them online. So I don't think you'll see retail ever be 100% dead, because you'll always see companies setting up little pop-up shops just to showcase their products and services for purchase online. Hey, Big Glizzy says, hope you're having a good evening. What's up, Big Glizzy? M. Wall. Tatiana's here. Stefan says, showroom. NJB says, hey guys. Let's see what MJB has to say here for a second. NJB says, hey guys, I really messed up my shoulder today, fell outside, and I actually heard something rip in my shoulder. Ouch. Well, get well soon, my friend. Get well soon, NJB. Best wishes to you. Square Bets is Best Buy is a showroom for Amazon. So Best Buy actually has a pretty strong e-commerce arm. That's why I think they're one of the only sort of technology retail storefronts that actually survived. I'm not sure if anybody remembers Circuit City, which was a similar retailer to Best Buy. The only difference between Circuit City and Best Buy is that Best Buy started to innovate and drive an e-commerce business for a revenue stream. Circuit City did not. And Circuit City went out of business. Liam is here. What's up, Liam? Joyce Carter says, I think Tom should relate the modern scheme of good and evil, or associate light and dark. Michelle McGraw says, people don't use malls like they used to. So many malls have closed down around us. I agree. Hey, I see Murky. Says, dang, everyone in New York still wearing masks. Is it mandated in New York City still? It's mandated in most places, I think, if you're inside storefronts and everything. But Murky, good to see you, my friend. Murky is from Florida. Paul Little says, yep, used to shop at Circuit City. Yeah, hey, Alex's Radio Shack, exactly, yep. I guess you could consider it like an adapt or die. So if you don't have, if you're not willing to adapt, you will be disrupted.
Yeah. That's good.
These vlogs says it's not mandated, but the amount of people is insane. Yeah, so I mean, if you go into some stores, they do mandate it that you wear the mask. Also, if you're going to eat or go out to eat and want to eat inside, you have to show your vaccination card. This is a Blue Bottle coffee. Yeah, Murky says the building interior lights are awesome. Wow, they really are. This is crazy. At Rockefeller Center, and we could not even order to go without the vaccination cards as Big Boss. That's insane. That's really crazy. Kira J says pretty view. What's up, Kira J? Good to see you, Zap Allen. Hey, Tom is here. Scott Briggs says the Wiz was a huge electronics chain and music in New York since the late 80s. But by 1998, retail was having issues already, and they went under totally in 2003. I did not know that. Thank you for sharing that. Hey, Philly says most of those stores will close in the next year. Every time I'm down there, hardly ever see people in these stores. Yeah, so Philly, that's a great observation, and we actually dedicated an entire stream to that, right? Because we are seeing sort of a disparity between what we're seeing on the ground. You know, every time we walk past a major retailer, we're like, well, how come this is even open? Why is that the case? Well, in main tourist places like New York City and the shops at the Hudson Yards, at you. Cool Aunt 516 from Long Island says Best Buy fixes computers also. I love them, says Cool Aunt 516. What's going on? Cosmo Scary says, Tom, you getting anything on Cyber Monday? I'm not sure. Maybe I'll pick up something on Amazon. I'm not sure. Hey, Katya says, finally caught the stream today. Welcome to the stream. Paul Little says, Tom, hope you had a nice Thanksgiving. And how's your new office and duplex home situation going for you in the Miami area? It's going good. It's going very good. I'm debating on whether to get full-time tenants or just do Airbnb. That's what I'm debating on. Hello from Taiwan. Welcome to all of our viewers in Taiwan. So we'll do one lap around the Hudson Yards shops and then we'll head out. Everybody, we have the one and only Vinny Castellano on the stream. What is going on, Vinny Castellano? Daryl says, Tom, do you know of Kohl's department store? I do. I have heard of them. Lost in the Curve says, any thoughts on Web3, the democratization of the web? Very bullish on it long term. Big bull. JK says also storefronts are refund centers. Yep. David says, now that there's a new variant circulating, how are the markets reacting? So I'm not so sure about the causation and correlation here. But what I think we have to be aware of is one of the things that was noticeable to me as I was watching the markets today is that the majority of the reopening trade stocks, so you think about all of the retailers and the cruise lines and the airlines especially, they were getting hammered today, absolutely clocked. So maybe the market is telling us that this new variant is something to be worried about. Whether you may agree with it or not, the market is all knowing. So if we have a follow-through day on Monday where the cruise lines and the airlines continue to sell off, that's going to be a big cause for concern. But as of now, it looks like this dip will be bought. approved are really nothing to be excited about, because the media is making it out to be a little bit quote unquote better than it is. And one of the reasons for that is because these are not traditionalized ETFs where you're actually allowed to own the underlying. These ETFs that were approved are based on futures contracts. So the Bitcoin ETFs that were approved, they actually do not hold any physical Bitcoin. They actually hold the futures contracts that bet on the price of Bitcoin. So the SEC has not yet actually approved a fundamental ETF or exchange traded fund where the fund actually holds physical Bitcoin. This is all just derivative product paper nonsense. So I would not buy any of that, in my opinion. Troy 1995 says Jack Ma once said online stores and offline stores can't stay away from each other. Very good point. Jetstar says, does this shopping center have a food court? It does. I think it's one more floor up. We'll check it out. Square Bets is, what is the grayscale BTC? Kathy Wood bought a bunch of it. So that isn't an ETF. That is a trust. So grayscale Bitcoin investment trust is different than a traditional ETF. Which I wouldn't, I mean, me personally, if you want exposure to Bitcoin, I would just buy the underlying, which is the actual coin itself. There's no need to buy the grayscale Bitcoin investment trust, because essentially they are just charging you a custodial fee just to manage the asset, right? So the fees are quite egregious on the grayscale Bitcoin investment trust, but those specific things need to be in place for institutional onboarding. So for a regular retail investor, you could probably, it's best bet to just buy the underlying if you want exposure to the asset itself. Yeah, I see Miguel Gonzalez here. What's up, Miguel? Sabrina Ferris is very interesting interview with Elon Musk and Ma. Elon was great, Musk was out there. This is Sabrina. Melissa 2087 is not busy there. Yeah, I think it's very late at night. Isn't it very late here on the East Coast? Estelle says, thanks for this, enjoy your night. Thanks, Estelle. Kara J says, if I were there, I'd never want to leave. Kara, you gotta come, you gotta visit. Jetstar, I believe it does have a shot of the food court. So everybody, I believe the 7th edition of the Behind the Street newsletter will be dropping tomorrow night. So if you'd like to sign up for a free financial newsletter written by yours truly, if you type !NEWS or news in the chat, it'll drop the link to the newsletter where you could sign up and you will get it emailed to you every single week. You guys can see me in the bulb if you look closely. Hey, Abe Bless says, greetings from London, UK. What's up, everybody from the UK? Roy S says, Tom, looking forward to the newsletter. Does the security hassle my streaming? So far, so good. But if they do hassle, we will leave. We're not troublemakers here. We'll leave. Jerry Williams Jr. says, absolutely breathtaking. JK says, damn trippy lights. The one and only Mighty Bulls is watching the walking experience and taking screenshots. Awesome. Yeah, so the Mighty Bull, I will be programming your Facebook page into the Nightbot so everybody could check out our pal Mighty Bull's Facebook page where he uploads screenshots from the streams every night. David says, well, who's your favorite billionaire and why? Elon Musk, without question, because Elon Musk is, I think, is doing more for humanity in a positive light than anybody else. Sabrina Fair says, I like that you don't show yourself. Elusive Tom. If you guys want to see what I look like, just follow my IG. I believe I have a picture or two up there. Hey, M. Wall in the Run says, do you think the fact that it's 10:30 has something to do with the amount of people at the mall? I definitely do. Not a lot of people are at the mall at 10:30. Scott Briggs says, I've seen AK and Urbanist do streaming here recently. I don't think the security minds. Very cool. RJ says, Tom, if the missus and I went here, I would have to sell the portfolio to pay the bills, clothes, shoes, handbags, and the like. RJ, that's hilarious, man. That's funny. We may have to structure some covered calls for RJ when he comes here. Hey, just in case Ethereum says, did you see Elon beef with the CEO of the Binance the other day? I did see that. A little hilarious. And then I believe the week prior, Elon Musk was going back and forth with Bernie Sanders a little bit. Which, even though I pretty much disagree with everything that Senator Bernie Sanders stands for, I think it was a little bit uncalled for what Elon Musk did. I mean, just like, I would just stay out of it. But then again, you know, who am I to say anything? Hey, Natalie Hassan is here. What's up, Natalie? Diana M says, you have a nice voice. I appreciate it. Thank you for that. All right, let's head downstairs now. Yeah, we got to walk this way to go downstairs. Lake says, what do you think of Time Wonderland? I'm not sure. I don't know what that is, to be honest. I apologize. Hey Now says, hello, Ronnie, the limo driver. Hey, NYC Cherry Groove is here. What's up, Cherry Groove? Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Cherry Groove, how was the bird that you got? The turkey? Any updates? I'm curious to see what you think. Or how was the bird that you ordered? Daryl from Chicago says Bernie is a communist. Senator. Quan says, Tom, do you have a face tattoo? Just wondering. I only have 2 face tattoos. I was going to get a third, but then, you know, I am in client-facing tech sales, and tattoos are quite a turnoff. So I do only have 2 small face tattoos on the left side of my face. Philly says, those 2 are the total opposite ends of the spectrum, says Philly. NYC Cherry Group says, it was the best turkey in my opinion ever. Good to hear that. Darren says, good evening, Tom, from Sydney, Australia. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving, Tom, and stay safe, mate. Darren, right back at you. Thank you so much for being here. Mighty Moles is like Mike Tyson. George Lopez is here. What's up, George? Kwanzaa's two small teardrops. Photos from around New York says, what are the tattoos of? I have two tattoos on my face of the Salesforce clouds. So if anybody's familiar with the company Salesforce, they're a software company that specializes in customer relationship management software, or CRM software. And their company logo is two clouds. So I got those right below my left eye. Just kidding, guys. I don't have any face tats. Hey, Ruby Falcone is here. What's up, Ruby? Oh, so Ruby, a little bit of an update. I know we were going back and forth and we were talking about what I'm going to do with the property, whether I'm going to have tenants or whether I'm going to do just Airbnb it. I think for this winter, I'm going to put it on Airbnb. And the reason for that is I want to mitigate my risk. I don't want to lock anybody into a long-term a long-term lease. And I could sort of monitor the situation while I'm there. And if anything, I actually ran the numbers and I'll actually generate more cash flow on the property by doing Airbnb than if I actually went and got roommates. So I think from a fiscal responsibility standpoint, I actually think it's a better deal. So I'll give you more updates on that in a second. Hey, Annie PZ, I appreciate the $20 super chat. Thank you for the support. Says that mall looks so beautiful. New York is beautiful during the holiday season. Annie PZ, thank you so much for the support. It does mean a lot. Michelle McGraw says, oh my God, no you don't. Michelle, could you imagine? Could you imagine me walking around with the Salesforce logo tattoo on my face? Hilarious. All right, everybody, we are going to exit the beautiful Hudson Yards, so I'll give you guys one more look. Hey, Anonymous Dude is here. Jerry Williams Jr. says, great commentator. Thank you, Jerry. Appreciate you. I see Miguel Gonzalez is in the chat. Daniel G says the Nutcracker in the back. Daniel G is our developer friend from Buenos Aires, Argentina. Philly says Tesla T on your forehead. Hilarious. The face tattoo joke is a good one. Hey, Fascinating says hello from Manhattan. Kira J says strolling around New York City during the holidays has always been a dream of mine. Ice says, do you like Post Malone? I don't know anything about him, but I like some of his songs. Ruby Falcone says, good for you, Tom. I'll be emailing you. I'm your support, my friend. Thank you, Ruby. I appreciate that. Yeah, I was looking over the documentation you were sending me in relation to the rental contracts and agreements. And I think just at first, just to give it a test run, I think I'm going to put the majority of the units on Airbnb. And I'll actually generate a significant amount of cash flow doing that. Way more than I would just doing traditional leases. So stay tuned. Hey, Jocko is here from Colombia. Welcome everybody from Colombia. I'd love to go to Colombia. So down in Miami, Florida, there's a lot of Colombian restaurants, very good Colombian restaurants. Aid Bless says, please tell us more about Airbnb versus just having regular tenants. So I think there's two risk parameters here with Airbnb and regular tenants. You know, if you have regular tenants and you screen them properly and they're good people, they pay their rent on time, the risk mitigation you have there is occupancy, right? So if you sign someone in for a 12-month lease, you know, you are pretty much guaranteed, unless you have a deadbeat and a derelict in your apartment, you're pretty much guaranteed that rental income, right? But, you know, you run the risk of having a squatter or something like that, where they don't pay or something like that. So that sort of mitigates the risk on that front, having a solid tenant over 12 months. If you try to do Airbnb, you run the risk of significant vacancy. So you're having rooms or units in your apartment complex where you're not generating income or you're not generating cash flow over the course of that time. However, the trade-off is Airbnb sometimes, if not most all the time or most often, actually brings in more revenue, because you could charge somebody $60 to $80 a night for Airbnb as opposed to charging somebody, $70 or excuse me, $700 for a room. So I think it just depends about how you structure it. But if you're going to host Airbnb, I think you have a duty and a responsibility to run it like a small business. You need to make sure the place is clean, you have good pest control, you treat your tenants with respect. Because if you were staying at that Airbnb, you would want the place to be clean. So you have an added responsibility and a duty to your tenants to do the right thing, make sure it's clean, make sure you have the proper pest control and the like. So I think it just depends on how you structure it. But I think I'm going to give the Airbnb a try at first. Hey, Mighty Mole says, I'm a pest control owner. That's awesome. Auntie Cool Aunt 516 says, Airbnb in Miami will be rough during the summer. The rest of the time should be pretty good. That's a good point. Sabrina Fair says, Airbnb, it still blows my mind that people stay in a stranger's home/flat. So every time that I travel, I actually stay in Airbnbs because it's a lot more affordable. And when I used, I'll give you guys a little bit of perspective here. When I used to rent out my apartment in Harlem, I actually used to rent a room in Harlem. And whenever I was away from New York on a business meeting, there would be so many people that would want to rent my room in the brownstone in Harlem. And the majority of these people were foreigners. And they said, we want to experience New York the way an average New Yorker lives here. We don't want to be in a fancy hotel. So I think there is a specific niche market for people that want to travel to different countries and experience what it's like to actually live like the people who are there every single day. And I thought that was pretty interesting to hear that from one of the people that stayed at my place. Hey Now says, I own a big company called Bob's Bugs, be gone. Hey Now. Let me take a screenshot of that. Maybe I'll be calling you should I need pest control if you deal with anybody in the Miami area. Jetstar says, will you hire someone to clean your Airbnb after the renter vacates? So I think I would do all the cleaning myself. I'm actually quite a clean freak as it is. So I think I would definitely make sure I'm on point with the cleaning. Absolutely. But also, I don't think I'm going to do it just yet. I think I'm going to start that in January. Because in my opinion anyway, I think, from an ethics standpoint, it's your moral obligation to make sure the property is in pristine condition before you have tenants there. Right? So there is a couple of things I do need to fix in the backyard, which is almost complete. So I would never want to have somebody staying in my place where there's construction, people are making a lot of noise. I want to make sure everything is 100% clean and pristine before I make the jump to actually having tenants in there. I don't know. I think that's just something that I believe in. If you're going to host somebody at your property, it's your duty to maintain that property to the highest standard. Sunshine After Rain, what's going on? Good to see you. Alex says, how much money would you need to be invested in an index fund to generate a decent income? This is Alex. So Alex, that's a good point. And the reason why that's a good question is the yield on the S&P 500 fluctuates quite often. And I believe the yield on the S&P 500 right now is 1.3%. So it's actually at historic all-time lows. It's actually at historic all-time lows. The S&P used to have a yield of like 3%. So that's why, we always talk about how it's extremely difficult for people, especially when they're retired, that are living off a fixed income. You know, bonds right now are yielding next to nothing, actually negative sometimes after inflation. The majority of the world's bonds are actually negative yielding, which is kind of perplexing to think about. So if you want to do the math on that, let's say if you dollar cost average into an S&P 500 index fund, right now, the yield on the S&P is, I believe, 1.3%. Pretty weird, pretty interesting. Hey, Catherine says it looks like it might snow. You know, Catherine, I think it might snow tomorrow, not gonna lie. James says, does New York City have a Walmart? Hate to see what it would look like. So Michael Bloomberg, Mayor Michael Bloomberg, actually made it illegal for Walmart to operate within the 5 boroughs. So NYC Cherry Group may be able to provide some perspective on that. Cherry Group didn't Mayor Michael Bloomberg, when he was mayor, didn't he outlaw Walmarts because they were cannibalizing local bodegas and delis? So I do not think that there's a Walmart within the 5 boroughs in New York. Jerry Williams Jr. says it's flurrying here in Boston. So let's head to, so I'll let you guys pick again tonight. Where should we head? Should we head uptown towards Radio City? Or should we head downtown again to the East Village? Elizabeth is here. What's up, Elizabeth? Good to see you. But this is interesting. This is something we've been talking about ad nauseum on the stream. Is that in a world where you have Jerome Powell, Fed Chair Jerome Powell, the Federal Reserve, artificially keeping interest rates near zero and continuously money printing, this forces people or investors around the globe to search for yield, right? So due to the fact that interest rates are near rock bottom, the people that are actually diligent in their savings and that are trying to save money in a savings account, those people are actually forced to lose money after factoring in inflation. So what this does is it forces people to take on risk. It forces people to go into risk assets. And that could be anything such as real estate, equities, stocks. So it's important to understand the interest rate environment as the number one thesis, or as the number one factor when formulating an investment thesis. Coolland 516 says, please go downtown. Okay, so it looks like everybody wants to go downtown again. We definitely will. We'll go downtown again. We'll do it. I would take you guys to the Moynihan train station, but there's no service in there. James Brumley says, I just like it for the convenience, but yeah, I feel for the unions too, so I get it. Anonymous Dude 123 says savings accounts losing money for inflation. Yeah, I mean, the average savings account doesn't even yield you 1%. So if inflation is going at a 6.4% clip per annum, you know, just do the math. You're pretty much forced to lose money. So artificially low interest rates creates a risk-on environment, an artificial risk-on environment. Hey, Pat Waters says Walmart does not have a store in New York City due to price competition and the city's grid system. New York City has high real estate, making the price very expensive to operate their large stores. Interesting. I always thought that Mayor Bloomberg outlawed the Walmarts. Very cool to hear that perspective. Thank you for that, Pat. James says, is there a Target or any fun stores worth going into? So I think there's actually a Target in Harlem. You know what? There's also a Target near Columbus Circle too. It's actually outside of the New York Institute of Technology, right there at Columbus Circle. Joyce Carter says, I'd love Tom to come visit for the holidays. Hey, Photos is here. What's up, Photos from around New York? Good to see you, my friend. Glenn Daly says, greetings from New Zealand. Very cool. Love New Zealand here. Joyce Carter says, I'm renovating my duplex for a holiday season. I'm creating a modern hotel image. Very cool, Joyce. I wish you could send us some pictures of that. Downtown New York City guy. What's going on, downtown New York City guy? Good to see you. Tony Swag says, there's a Target right on 34th. Oh yeah, Tony, you're right. There is a Target right here on 34th Street on the main drag, right across the street from Macy's, actually. But the Target that I most frequent is actually the one near Columbus Circle. Is there a Costco? I don't think there's a Costco in New York. Let me rephrase that. Within the 5 boroughs in New York City, I'm not sure. Hey, Pat Waters says, hey Tom, I worked for Publix for 20 years, got a 401k. I need to do something with it. It's just sitting. So Pat, what are you invested in your 401k? Johnny 5 says, flipping the house. Carol H says, yes, I used to live next to the Costco in Harlem too at one point. Oh, so there's a Costco in Harlem. Oh, in East Harlem. Is it in the same building, everybody, that the Target's in? Because I used to live right on 126th, very close to the new Whole Foods that opened. I used to live right there, so I would take the skateboard and I would go to that Target in East Harlem. I believe it was on 117th Street. Oh, there is a Costco in Queens. Cherry Goose says, yes, there's a Costco in Queens. See, I didn't know that. I did not know that. Didn't know there was a Costco in Queens. What about Staten Island? You would think that there's a Costco in Staten Island. I'm not sure. Here's Billy Joel. What's up, Billy Joel? Good to see you as always, my friend. Thanks for being on the stream. Oh, British Grace says there's a Costco also in the South Bronx. I didn't know that. Hey, Patrick New York is here. What's up, Patrick? Good to see you. Patrick says, yes, there is a Costco in Staten Island. And a bunch on Long Island. Yeah, I know there's a bunch on Long Island, but I was just curious as if they were in the boroughs, which I didn't know that. All right, everybody, we'll skateboard downtown. Downtown seems to be the place of choice on the stream. But briefly, we were just, it's a holiday, so we don't really have that many prepared topics. But we were touching on the big Black Friday stock market sell-off. And one of the things that's notable to look at and watch for is the fact that a lot of the reopening trade stocks got absolutely clocked, hammered. So if you think about the Norwegian Cruise Line stock, a lot of the airline stocks sold off hard. Could this be the market telling us that this new Delta, or that this new variant, or whatever it is going to wreak a lot of havoc? Who knows? I'm not sure. Judging based upon the bond market is telling us that this dip will be bought. The 10-year yield actually came down today. Ooh, it is windy, everybody. Alright, so this is West 28th Street. and FIT, Fashion Institute of Technology, which is a SUNY school. We may have to go one more avenue over because it's still windy. Ryan says the only thing to fear is fear itself. I agree with that one. Here, I'll show everybody Fashion Institute of Technology right here on the right. Johnny 5 says 2022 will be a positive year. There we go, Johnny. Stay optimistic. I'm optimistic too. Carol H says Costco is at East 117th Street. Thank you for that. David says, what kind of skate do you have? And do you also ride a booster board? So I don't ride a booster board, but I'll show you guys. Oh, you went to school here. So the Iron Chef said went to school here. Very cool. Yeah, I have a lot of buddies who went to FIT. Very cool place. So the Iron Chef, good to see you. Miran says, just subscribe, love your informative talks. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope you're having a great start to the weekend. Everybody, it's just the start of the weekend. You know, tomorrow's Saturday. I mean, what more could you ask for? So I'll show you guys the board. It says it's a good day to die. Wounded Knee, the Wounded Knee skateboard, guys. Not bad. Hey, Marcus here says, Tom, what are you doing when the market goes down? What's a safe investment to put the money from the house? So what do I do when the market goes down? Oftentimes nothing. If the bond market is acting quite well and the market seems to be extended, I just sit. I sit tight. You know, Jesse Livermore once said, the money is made in the sitting. The money is made in the sitting, so you buy right and sit tight. So in the newsletters, I write about this a lot. So we came out of our correction in October, and we've pretty much been straight up on all the major equity indices. So if you look at the relative extension over the 50-day moving average, it was quite egregious over the past couple days. So we're still a couple percentage points off the 50-day. So long as we don't slice through the 50-day on higher than expected volume, it's a normal correction. But one of my good friends once told me that, one of my good hedge fund manager friends, he said, Tom, if you want to know where the stock market's going to go, you got to look at the bond market. Because the bond market and the credit markets determine the liquidity in the market. My God, it's so windy. I'm gonna have to turn down the side street. It's so windy. I think this guy's gonna back right over us, guys. That wouldn't be good. So anyway, now that the wind has died down, in my opinion, the only way to know when you should really get out of this market is if the equities are selling off in tandem with the bond market. So when you have an uncontrolled sell-off in the bond market, you'll see the yields on those bonds spike uncontrollably. And the reason for that is because yields move inverse of bond prices, right? They're inversely correlated. So when yields go up, prices go down. This guy's parked in the bike lane. It's always good. We'll just wait. We'll walk around him. Where are we at, guys? We're West 23rd Street. Let's go one more avenue over. Let's check it out. Philly says, what are your thoughts on commodities trading? I don't trade commodities, in my opinion. I mean, not in my opinion. I just personally do not trade commodities because I think there's too many moving factors at play there. And I don't think I have the expertise in order to understand all those moving parts. There's a lot of very talented commodities traders out there, but I am definitely not one of them. Michelle McGraw says the person shouldn't be driving. All right, let me catch up on some of the comments. I apologize for not reading them. Hey, Mark says, I'm selling my house. I'm going to have the cash from the house sale. Where should I put that cash safely to earn money without a long-term CD? So, Mark, I can't advise on anything, right? I can't advise you what to do with your money, mainly because I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not registered to give financial advice. So what I would say, though, Mark, is if it's a significant percentage of your net worth from this house sale, I would definitely first contact a fiduciary that you trust. Because I've been talking about this a lot with some of my buddies that are selling their houses out in the Hamptons and on Long Island. And they're like, you know, I could get a lot from my house, but if I sell the house, it's like, where am I going to go? You know, I'm just going to go and get in a bidding war with somebody else during a global pandemic. And I think that's why you're seeing such a shortage of houses on the market, because even though people have seen amazing price appreciation or capital appreciation in their home prices, you know, you have to think about, you know, if I sell my house, where am I going to go? Right? Am I going to sell my house and then go into a bidding war with some other schmuck? You know, so it's very difficult. It's a very weird type of market we're in right now. Very strange. Hey, Miran, with this $7.77 super chat, says go get a hot chocolate. Thank you so much for the support. It really does mean a lot. Thank you, everybody who's been supporting me. And I hope you all are having a great Thanksgiving as we are looking downtown at the beautiful One World Trade Center here in New York. Pat says, Tom, my 401k is 75% State Street moderate strategic balance. Yeah, so Pat, the majority of the times what you'll see within a 401k, it'll say something like a target date fund, right? So a target date fund is really based upon the year that you think you'll be at retirement age. And the only thing that really means is a target date fund is all the portfolio managers do is change up the weighting to equities and bonds, right? So in regular times, the closer you are to retiring, the more weighting, generally speaking, to your portfolio you should have in bonds or fixed income, right? So you're taking on less risk. However, you know, I was watching a very interesting interview with Stanley Druckenmiller. And Stanley Druckenmiller is widely regarded as one of the best asset managers and traders of all time. He actually says that ever since the 2008 financial crisis, with Ben Bernanke starting quantitative easing, artificially suppression of interest rates, equity funds have actually, by and large, outperform bond funds almost every single year. And one of the reasons for that is because if you have the Federal Reserve buying mortgage-backed securities, buying U.S. Treasuries to essentially create money out of thin air, all of that extra liquidity has to go somewhere. And it's not going to go into a bond that's yielding negative rates in real terms. Right, so after inflation, if the 10-year Treasury yield's yielding 1.7%, and we just got an inflation print at 6.5, well, if you buy that, you're essentially telling yourself that you're willing to lose money. So one of the things that Stanley Druckenmiller said in this interview is that he believes central banking, not just from the Federal Reserve, but globally, has fundamentally changed global financial markets. And I think that's a pretty interesting supposition. Hey, Joyce says happy Hanukkah. Yes, happy Hanukkah. I believe Hanukkah is what, in 2 weeks actually, right? So we are coming up, everybody, on the very famous Flatiron Building in New York. Lost in the Curve says capital gains tax may have an effect when selling a home. Each person's situation is different. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. So I believe if it's your primary residence and if it's your first home, I believe your first $250,000.
Let me get a little.
I don't want you to hurt yourself.
Just a little skate down.
But just don't hurt yourself. I'm not liable.
She doesn't know what she's doing.
Oh my God, you're
No, Tom, how are you?
Tom. Okay,
What's up, man?
Hi, Tom.
Apple. I stole it from
Tom,
the
you're very
restaurant.
cute.
Oh, thank you, bro. I
Of
appreciate it.
course.
Jesus Christ.
Wait, do you do social media?
Oh yeah, so we do like a live show around New York. We talk about finance. Excuse me.
Oh, you got views.
We love dedication. Can I
Do
be
you
on it?
like do this as a job?
No, I mean I just do it after work.
Can I be on it?
Yeah, go ahead. But so it's
everyone.
called Wall Street Escape Roast. So we talk about like the equities markets, the bond market.
We're alive right
And
now.
we usually do it for like 2 hours a night.
We're alive right now.
We're gonna smoke on this.
You want a marble?
Oh, that's well, I'm on YouTube.
Shout out to Jersey.
It's only on YouTube.
We're on TikTok.
My boyfriend's gonna fuck me.
Oh yeah, we're TikTok info.
Yeah. Are you guys from New York? Are you just visiting?
No, I'm from New Jersey.
My apartment
Oh, cool.
will be here
I'm
in a
raised
month.
here, but I've been living in New Jersey for like 7 years.
I go to college in New York, but I'm from Jersey.
Oh, nice. What college do you go
St.
to?
John's University.
Oh, cool. In Queens. Very
Yeah.
cool. Awesome. Yeah, I went to John Jay. It's like a CUNY school here.
Okay.
Like City University.
What's your
of New
major?
York. My major was criminal justice.
What do you got?
I work in tech, so like tech sales, like enterprise software sales.
Oh, do you like it?
Yeah, I like it. It's cool. It's not bad. I actually just moved. I don't know whose phone this is. This is.
I don't.
Make sure it gets back to like.
We're a little wine drunk too, so.
Oh no, it's okay.
Oh, my
Yeah.
phone?
But yeah, I just moved
You
to.
ever need a stylist? Get him up.
Oh what?
He's a stylist.
Oh, awesome, man. That's cool. Well, you guys be safe. Enjoy the city and happy Thanksgiving.
Have a good night. Have a good
Hey,
Thanksgiving.
see you guys. I just wanted to crack your head open.
She's wild. We've done worse. Hey, give the fuck out of skateboard back.
But it was nice meeting you guys. Hey, take it easy. See you later. Hey, have a good night, guys. See you later.
Have a good night.
See ya. Oh, that's not me. Have a good night. Oh, okay. Have a good one, guys. See you later. Be safe. All right, sorry about that, guys. See ya. Alrighty, so now we are back. Where was I? They were nice people. Very cool. So yeah, I think we were just talking about the Stanley Druckenmiller interview where he was saying that central banking has fundamentally changed asset allocation. You know, the basic 60-40 portfolio is actually probably not a good setup in an environment where rates will investments. No, not at all. I work in tech.
Don't let Alex know that.
Buffering a little bit. War Walker says, thank you, War Walker. I appreciate you. Robert West says, don't go with those. They were nice kids. You know, there's kids trying to have fun. But guys, check this out. This is probably the greatest view of the Empire State Building you'll get. I think this is probably as good as it's going to get, guys. Very beautiful. But Robert West, good to see you. Josie, good to see you. War Walker is joining us from Miami, Florida, holding it down while I'm back in New York. The Mighty Bull Says, Tom, you were really cool on your feet. No problem, Mighty Bull. Philly says, Jersey, so close yet so far. Mark says, well, with the money, I may sell my house and buy a condo in Florida. So, Mark, the only thing that I would say, just as a pal here, condominiums in Florida, okay? Because the HOA fees can be extremely, extremely egregious. That's what I'll say. Just, in my opinion, I don't think I would ever buy a condominium. If I was ever going to buy a piece of property, I'd probably buy it where there's a relatively low property taxed area. And I would try to avoid HOA fees as much as possible because those are the worst. Yeah, Marion says, windy tonight. It is crazy windy. NYC Cherry Groove says, Tom, you handle yourself well. You are a good role model for some of us old folks. No problem, Cherry Groove. Yeah, I think having a career in sales, tech sales, dealing with some not too pleasant customers is really kept me cool in most situations. Those are really nice people. Those are cool. I think one of them was a stylist, which is pretty cool. Very cool job. Yeah, Photos from Around New York says every condo in New York City has HOA fees. That's just the one thing I never really understood. Well, I mean, I guess I understand it, but if I was ever going to own something, I don't want to have to pay anybody anything. I just want to pay the property taxes and be done with it. I think that's what real ownership is about, but that's just me. All right, so here we have another view of the Empire. So this is right near the Flatiron Building. All right, so in the camera angle, we now have the Empire State Building, but right here, at the bottom right, you could actually see a little bit of the top of the Chrysler Building as well. Yeah, David says in relation to HOA, they charge for the amenities. That's true, but I think in a lot of circumstances, I've heard horror stories about HOA, especially if you're buying a house in a community that has HOA fees. That can be really, really terrible because you could have absolute crazies in charge of the HOA. These people take the job so seriously, they think they're like police officers. You can't cut your grass a certain way. You know, you can't have too many cars parked outside. It's really bizarre. Hey, Murky says, how has Florida been treating you since you moved in? How are the bugs in your new place? So no bugs. I've gotten pretty lucky. Everything's been going really well. I had to do a ton of demolition in the backyard, a ton, which we are almost finished. Savius is stunning. Sabrina Fair says HOAs are maniacal authoritarians. Alan Wilson says there are expenses associated with keeping up the common areas of the property, and that's what a lot of HOAs are for. Downtown NYC's guy says, in fact, real estate taxes eat up 70% of our maintenance fees. Wow. Yeah, I mean, so I was actually going to buy the house on Long Island, but, you know, because that's where my family's from. That's where I want to be close to my family. But it's almost near impossible to buy a house on Long Island. because even if I had the entire house paid off on Long Island, I would still have to come up with about $16,000 a year in property taxes. Who can do that? I mean, even if, you know, you have a good job, you work in tech, you work in investment banking, you're making 300 grand a year, you know, who can pay 16 grand to 20 grand a year in property taxes? That's horrible. That's really crazy. Carol H says, what is the percent of property taxes in North Miami Beach? So I don't know what the exact percentage is, but it goes by millage rate. And my property taxes are $4,300 a month, $4,300 a year. So even though that's relatively high, if I were to buy the same house on Long Island, it'd be 16 grand. Hey, Ryan is here, says, you're so right, Tom. I once took over a condo board after the board signed an easement for an adjacent property without any compensation. Wow, Ryan, that's crazy. Cool Ant 516 says the bugs back off this time of year. The summer is much worse. I'll be sure to stay on the lookout. Hey, the calls info warriors is Phoenix here. What's up, everybody from Phoenix, Arizona? Hope you're well. New York City property taxes are way too high. I agree. Photos from around New York says $4,300 a year is nothing. I mean, relative to anywhere in the country, it's actually quite high. But coming from Long Island, it's not high at all. Hey, T and Me TV is having a tough time keeping up with the chat, Tom. I pay ridiculous amount of city county tax here in Nashville, Tennessee. Yeah, so T and Me TV, I believe that's probably because Tennessee doesn't have any state income tax, so they have to make up for it somehow. Yeah, Long Island is crazy expensive. Spanish vlog is here. Talbot says, hey, Wall Street Skateboarder, how are you tonight? I'm doing really well. Doing really well. Yeah, sorry about it, I can't keep up with the comments. Sometimes the comments are ripping by, and it's windy. So when it's windy, my eyes get so dry because I wear contacts, so I virtually can't see anything. So I'll do the best I can. Washington Square Park. Carol H says that's great for property taxes. Dudes, as we're flying again. Jordan says, Tom, did you play soccer in college? I did. Absolutely. It was a blast. I had a good time. Mark says, so Tom, are you renting in Florida? Just curious. No, I bought a place. So I bought a place like 2 months ago. I have to do some minor renovations. And then I'm going to either Airbnb out one side of the place or just get tenants. But that is to be determined. Carolyn K says, thanks for going live. Los Angeles here. Miss New York City. Welcome everybody from LA. All right, everybody, let's try to cross the street without getting knocked off. That should be a task. Very good Korean barbecue spot here. as we make our way through Union Square. 13th Street, Union Square. Joyce Carter says amazing. Ibrahim Azam says, I notice a lot of people prefer houses over apartments. NYC Cherry Group says Tom was the point guard of soccer, center hallback. Carol H says Puerto Rico has many tax incentives for American investors. Yeah, so Carol, interesting you say that. So Peter Schiff, I think a lot of people know who Peter Schiff is. He is the CEO and founder of Euro Pacific Capital, or Europac. And actually, Peter Schiff right now is going through the largest tax scandal investigation in corporate history. So best of luck to Peter Schiff. Euro Pacific Capital. Peter Schiff is known for his very famous documentary. Well, not really documentary, but interview he was doing at Zuccotti Park during the Occupy Wall Street protests. So if anybody wants to watch that, if you go to YouTube and type in I am the 1% Peter Schiff, he is down at Zuccotti Park at the Occupy Wall Street protest talking to all the protesters, which was a great little back and forth there. Alan Wilson says, Tom, it's 11:23. What time is the train? Ooh, I just think I missed my train. Daniel Rivera says, I would stay at your place, Tom, if it were to be Airbnb in North Miami Beach. This is Daniel. Yeah, Daniel, so it may be up there. Keep your eyes peeled. Maybe up there. Mark says, the condo that I was going to buy in Florida has a $500 a month HOA. But they mow the lawn, they take care of the building, you get free internet, free cable, and you got that club swimming pool. Yeah, I mean, Mark, maybe it would be a good idea. I'm not sure. I would definitely run the numbers. Roland YT says, see, taxes a necessary evil. Yeah, I mean, so I think a lot of people are under the impression or have the impression that taxes are evil and things like that. But, you know, you guys pretty much know my stance on things. I think, you know, I tend to lean more conservative on most issues than not. But, you know, when it comes to taxes, I actually have no problem paying taxes. None at all. For me, it's about the representation. So if I see all of these egregious taxes, and like here in New York, if I'm going to pay almost 55% of my income in taxes and I'm not seeing the city improving and I'm seeing a lot of corruption, well, then I'm going to move somewhere where the government is a little bit more ethical. So I actually don't think taxes are a bad thing, so long as the tax money is not squandered. And the vast overwhelming majority of the tax money in the United States is squandered, I think, for mainly unethical purposes. So I have no problem at all paying taxes. I got clocked last year.
Jesus Christ. I was like, yo, you look like
Hey, Marzon says Puerto Rico is part of the United States per the Jones Act of 1916. Puerto Rican citizens are American citizens. Taxing our wages is unconstitutional. Sir, come on, man. Says Shawnee B51823. Yeah, so that's actually a very good point. I'm just going to call you Sean, or Shawnee. So there's actually a very good book written by Peter Schiff's dad about the notion that taxing is unconstitutional. And actually, Peter Schiff's father went to prison and died in prison for not paying his federal income tax. But as the viewer of the stream just pointed out, it is actually unconstitutional to do that, which I agree with. However, I think in a more modern society, and look, I could be totally wrong. You know, I don't know everything. I don't have all the answers. But I think in a more modern society where the population growth has pretty much quintupled in the United States, you do need some sort of taxation in order to run a modern civilized society. And that's coming from me, and I'm probably the most pro-capitalism, free markets guy you'll ever talk to. This guy's going up the wrong way. That's all right. Moran says John McAfee. Yeah, so John McAfee was actually the former founder of McAfee, which is a cybersecurity company. And he had large investments in cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin. But there's also another funny story about McAfee that I'm not sure a lot of people know. So the CEO of CrowdStrike actually was a high up executive at McAfee back in the day before he started CrowdStrike. And one of the reasons why he left McAfee is because he was pretty much forecasting the shift from on-premise legacy cybersecurity products where the servers are on-premise. It's called on-prem infrastructure. And he forecasted that the majority of cybersecurity solutions are one day going to migrate over to the cloud. So he was like, if we want to stay competitive at McAfee, we need to be developing cybersecurity solutions that are made for the cloud, right? So if you think about companies like Zscaler, right, all of their cybersecurity solutions are actually administered over the cloud via a SaaS model, software as a service model. So the CEO of CrowdStrike actually left his director role at McAfee to go start CrowdStrike, took it public, and now he's a multi-billionaire. Pretty interesting. Oh, the wind is brutal. That is brutal. Sorry guys, I'll catch up on the comments in 1 second. The wind is crazy. All right, we finally made it to Washington Square Park. Finally getting a break from the wind. Zap Allen says, we know the leader of the Conservative Party. Trump doesn't like to pay taxes. Well, I think that's because he's a business owner. I don't think anybody likes paying taxes. I don't like paying taxes. Hey, Sabrina Ferris says New Jersey has the highest property taxes in the nation. Indeed, they do. Hey, Mark says congratulations on your place in Florida. Can I ask around what neighborhood your house is? I live in North Miami Beach. That is where I reside. And the reason why I chose that is because it's about a 15-minute bus ride from Sunny Isles Beach. And Sunny Isles Beach, Florida is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And then it's a 30-minute bus ride to the Brickell, which is the financial district where I commute to work. Daniel G says pavement looks wet. Was it raining? It's very possible. It could have been raining a little bit. Mark says you have a great speaking voice and personality. Did you ever think about radio or TV broadcasting? I never really, I did think about it. You know what my dream job was? My dream job was to be a meteorologist on TV. So if I could pick a dream job that if somebody said, if you could snap your fingers and you could do one thing, I would want a job as a meteorologist on a local news channel. I think that'd be very cool. I just think the meteorologists on TV are very, very cool. Hey, Kay says we got showers too. It's okay. Good to see you. The Cal's Info Warrior says I'm a reporter photographer. Very cool. Very cool. Well, the park is empty, but it looks very nice here. Ibrahim Azam says, Tom, what do you think about billionaires not paying taxes? I think that's quite a false narrative. I think billionaires pay the majority of the taxes in the United States. Pay the vast majority of taxes. I just think that political talking heads just make these outlandish claims just to sound smart and get votes. But when you actually look at the data, the top 1% of income earners pay about 90% of the taxes. The reason why it may not seem like they pay a lot of taxes is because the majority of their wealth, for example, like a Jeff Bezos, the vast majority of his wealth is actually in the form of stock compensation or in the form of the shares of Amazon he owns. So when people say, Elon Musk made more money in one day than the average CEO will make in a lifetime, that's a little bit of a mischaracterization. And the reason why that is because the vast majority of people think that when the media outlets are saying Elon Musk made more money in one day than anybody really would make in their lifetime, that's like paper wealth, right? It's paper wealth. It's just because the stock price of Tesla has gone up. It's not like the guy's actually sitting on all that liquidity in his bank account. Man, it is a windy night in New York. So the only way they'll pay taxes on that is if they sell it to realize the gain. Mark says, do you still have your place in New York City? I'm staying with family in New York City. David says, one should avoid politics and a general education. This is David. Father Dad says, I think there's a lot of people that want to control us, and I know nobody likes to be controlled. Hey, we got Wendy here. What's up, Wendy? Good to see you. Happy Thanksgiving. Always good to see you, Wendy. Carol Williams says, good night. Watching from the beautiful Caribbean island from Antigua and Barbuda. Awesome. NYC Cherry Group says, Tom, you may be a meteorologist on the stream. Hey, Frisky Savage says, I actually plan to major in meteorology next year. Very cool. Well, good luck. Cool Land 516 is a beautiful shot. Jerry William Jr. says, so peaceful tonight. Hey, Roland YT says, I'd like to see the sunrise on the live. Maybe we'll do that one night. Hey, I Revis is here. Says, hi, Tom. Sounds like a windy storm coming in. It's extremely windy tonight, I Revis. Extremely windy. So we'll take a couple laps around the park and then we'll head home. We are looking at the Empire State Building from Washington Square Park near NYU, New York University. But everybody, some good news. Next week, we will be starting our behind the desk stream once a week, where we will be analyzing and breaking down companies. So stay tuned for that. Hey, Carol says, I'm looking forward to reading your newsletter. Thank you, Carol. So all of them will be archived online, so you can read all of them ever written. Ooh, nice. Hey, Kevin Sunderland says, didn't catch volume number, but do you think today's market action seemed more violent due to shortened trading day? So Kevin Sunderland with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Kevin. I appreciate the support. So Kevin, by and large, I think this sell-off in the market that we saw today was a little bit of a flight to safety. It wasn't a full-on fear trade. And the reason why I say it wasn't a full-on fear trade is because we actually saw the dollar sell off a little bit. However, if we think back to the correction we had in October, the markets have essentially been straight up without any correction since October. So if we look at the relative extension above the 50-day moving average on all of the major equity indices, such as the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the NASDAQ, and the S&P 500, you'll see that relative extension above the 50-day actually coincides quite normally with a normal correction. So all of the indices were extended about 10 to 15% above their major 50-day moving average. Ooh, brutal, guys. Brutal wind. So we still have a couple percentage points to go to hit the 50-day, but we'll see. Let's see when the S&P 500 hits the 50-day moving average. Will we find support? I think we will. And the reason why I think that is because we have to look at the bond market. And during this sell-off, we actually saw the yield on the 10-year come down a little bit, and that's good. That's normal. What we don't want to see is equities selling off in tandem with the bond market. If we have an uncontrolled sell-off in the bond market, that means yields will start to spike. And if that happens at the same time the major indices are selling off, that's the time to call Armageddon. That's the time to run for the hills. When we have an uncontrolled sell-off in the bond market coinciding with the sell-off in the equities. But as of right now, that 10-year yield is stable right around 1.4, 1.5%. All right, everybody, let's head back up to the one and only Moynihan train station. See, it's a little bit easier when I have this skateboard and my backpack, but as of now, I actually have my suitcase because my backpack broke. So it's difficult holding the camera, skateboarding, reading your comments, and holding my suitcase at the same time. So I apologize if I'm not reading everybody's comments tonight. I really do apologize, but I will do my best. right, East 12th Street. I'm gonna stop at the light. Hey, Gene is here. Says, what a great channel. Educational and to see New York City live. Whew, I'm a little winded. Well, thank you, Gina, for being here. Father, Dad says, why don't you own a car? I don't know, but stay safe. I'm not a big fan of cars. I'm not a big car guy. Oh, this looks like some sort of rooftop lounge. That's cool. Dead rat. Are we gonna make it? I think we will. 3, 2, 1. All right, everybody. Now we're back. 14th Street, Union Square. Hey, Zachary's here. What's up, Zach? All right, quick break, and then we'll get back on the board. So this is the Union Square Holiday Market. Jerry William Jr. This is awesome. So are you, Jerry? Good to see you. Good to see you, Jerry. Hey, Robert says, best PR jockey. Pat says, when I lived in the city 20 years ago, I never had a car, 90% walking. I agree. Mark says, Tom, that would sound great as a meteorologist on TV. You can still make that happen. You have a great personality. Thank you, Mark. DH Starboy15 says, how you doing, bro? I'm new to your channel. Well, welcome, DH Starboy. It's a pleasure to have you here. And I hope you're having a great start to the weekend. How about that? Thank you for being here. I do appreciate it. Roy S. says, has Union Square Holiday Market open yet? So I'm not sure about that. That's actually a good question, Roy. It does look like they're just setting it up, but I'll let you know tomorrow because I'm going to be back in the city tomorrow. So maybe I'll come stop by. Kira Jace is not even sure how I got here, but the tour and commentary has been fascinating. Hey, Kira, thank you for saying that. It does mean a lot to me. Oh, Philly. So it was open today. So we do have a viewer saying the Union Square Market was open. So maybe it just looks all shut off because it's close to midnight.
Hold up, bro.
Yeah, dude. Hey, MB here says, when are you headed back to Miami? We should be headed back on Tuesday, if all goes according to plan. But December is going to be very busy, so I will try best I can to do as many live streams as possible. And if I can't do any live streams, what I'll do is I'll just write 3 or 4 behind the street newsletters a week to hold us over. Because with the holidays, I have a lot of stuff to attend to for work, holiday parties, with clients. So we'll see. But Father, Dad, good to see you here. Anonymous dude, good to see you as always. So this is 14th Street, Union Square. So this is actually one of my favorite Barnes & Noble bookstores in the city, right ahead. But MB, good to see you. Hey, Zachary says, I actually moved to Queens from Birmingham, Alabama. Very cool, dude. Awesome. Well, it's a pleasure to have you in New York. Welcome to New York. I think you're going to be very successful here. Okay, everybody, we're going to head back uptown from Broadway and East 17th Street. NYC Cherry Groove says, thank you everybody for subscribing. Please like and share. Thank you, Cherry Groove. Appreciate it. Alan says, you can do short live streams and pre-recorded videos. That works. Yeah, maybe I could do that. It's a good idea. Very good idea. Hey, Miss Dash 10 says, hi, Tom. Nice night, everyone. What's up, Miss Dash? Good to see you. Yeah, if I had a car in the city, I don't know where I'd put it. I don't really want to park it on the street. Roy S says, don't forget that we could still treat Tom for coffee through his Ko-Fi account. Very cool. Father Dad says, go home. It's cold out. Get a warm bed, my guy. Don't want to see you get a cold. Appreciate that. Julie says, Tom, it's hard for me to understand you. I apologize. I'll try to speak more clear and concise. I think I got to get a microphone, everybody. I say that every stream. I'm like, I got to get a microphone, but I'm going to have to do it. Kitchen Lab says, thank you for a windy stream. No problem, Kitchen Lab. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving and have an even better weekend. East 20th Street. Now, if you guys look straight ahead, you're going to see the Empire State Building again. One of the greatest views of the Empire right now. JK says, no way you're still on the skateboard. I'll be on all night, guys. Gotta get the exercise. Yeah, microphone will be great. I promise you guys, that's the next thing on my to-do list. I'm going to order a microphone off of Amazon, because now that it is winter, we're gonna have to deal with a lot of wind on the streams. Mark says, I like the idea, Tom. Behind the desk stream. Yeah, I think we'll do that once a week because I want to give everybody a little bit of what they want. Some people like only tours of the city. Some people like the finance talk. So I think I'm going to mix it up. I think I'm going to make dedicated days to the financial talk behind the desk where we could go a little bit more in depth. And I'll do more videos where it's strictly giving tours, skateboarding, having a good time. Ed says, do you skate in the winter? We do, Ed, but good to see you. Always a pleasure to see you, Ed. Mark says, tell him I told everyone about your YouTube channel. I'm hooked on it, sights and sounds in New York City, and investing information. Mark, I do appreciate that. Thank you so much. Alex says, don't you get scared being out so late? Well, I think the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. David says, it sounded clear as in unmudded lake. This is David. Mark says, I want to read your newsletter. How do I write up? I want to read your newsletter, Tom. How do I sign up? So if anybody wants to read the newsletter that I write, if you type exclamation point news in the chat, it'll bring you to a link where you could sign up for the newsletter. It's free. I don't charge anything. Hey, Sabrina Fair. What's going on, Sabrina Fair? Hey, Julia says, hi, Tom. Say hello to Brazil. What's up, Brazil? From Juliana. What's going on? Lucero says, I'm here for only tours of the city. Very cool. I appreciate you being here. It does mean a lot. I enjoy your company. So thank you for being here with everybody. Enjoying the streams, guys. I think we can get rolling. All right, we got the limo here. Mark says, Tom, how is your health? My health is great. Thank God. Lucero says, thank you for bringing this experience to us. What's up, photos? Fascinating says, I am here for finance talk. Yeah, so I'm going to try to give everybody a little of everything. And I promise I'll try to deliver as best I can. So maybe on Wednesdays, I'll do the behind the desk stream dedicated to finance. Maybe Mondays and Tuesdays we'll dedicate it to skateboarding around Miami and New York City. Hey, what's up, the Aviator? What's up, Mark? Let's see if we can cross the street now. Ooh, tight squeeze, everybody. Empire State Building up top. Oh, and everybody, I forgot. We just recently hit 6,000 subscribers on the channel. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been supporting. I really had no idea how fast this channel would grow. So thank you to everybody for being here. So we're headed back uptown. We're about to see a beautiful view of the Empire right now. Coming up in 2 blocks. Thank you, Michelle McGraw. Appreciate you being a great moderator. Ooh, they just paved the bike lane, everybody. So we're headed back towards Koreatown. All right, 31st Street, only a couple more blocks to go. We are home free. Ryan says, I expect a kickflip to celebrate at 10,000. Funny. Anonymous dude says 6,000 subs. What a great community. Yeah, thank you, everybody. Philly says, how often do you come from New York? How often do you come to New York? Oh, well, I'm from New York. We mainly do the majority of our streams here, but I just moved to Miami. So I think we'll be in New York 1 week per month. 1 week per month. All right, guys, this view is the best one. I saved the best for last. I think that was the best one. It's always the best one by Koreatown. GameStop, everybody. To the moon. Just kidding. All right, back to civilization. West 34th Street and 6th Avenue. We have the Macy's to your left, where they do the famous Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Hey, Father Dad says, stay cool, my guy. Get yourself a coffee. Do something, man. We love you. Skateboarding around New York City in the cold weather. Good luck, my guy. Stay strong. Thank you, Father Dad. Sunshine After Rain says, we cruising. I mean, Sunshine New York says that. What's up, Sunshine New York? Good to see you as always. Hey, what's up, Ed? For the love of God says, it's midnight. Good night, Tom. I think we've missed the train for quite a while now. Have you ever seen somebody in their 60s learning to skateboard? I think it's definitely possible. Sunshine, New York. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving. So for everybody who doesn't know who Sunshine, New York is, she's really the guardian angel of the stream. Reva says, is your nose frozen? Yes. Sabal says, hey, what's the time right now? I'm not sure. Could we get a time check in the chat real quick? Patrick, New York, good to see you. You don't wear, I do not wear gloves. Hey, Ricardo SC says, good night, buddy. Big hug, thank you. All right, everybody, I think we're gonna end the stream here. I do appreciate everybody joining. I hope everybody had a good Friday night. Thank you for streaming with me. We had a lot of good conversations talking about the bond market in relation to the equities market. So I appreciate it, guys. Everybody have a great Saturday. I should see you tomorrow. So if you want to join us tomorrow, feel free to subscribe to the channel. I appreciate everybody joining. Jerry, thank you all the moderators. Thanks everybody. Josie, Melee. Be safe. And have a good night to the mighty bull wherever you are, because there is always a bull market somewhere. You just need to know where to look. Take it easy, everybody.